Okay. This video is a note to myself and other people. It's gonna be pretty short because I didn't know how to do this, and this is a casketer tutorial because for some reason this was like I had to watch like 5 fucking videos to figure this out, and it was like spliced between different things. So I'm just gonna make a video going over the entire thing. So I have this animation. So this is adjusted already. And if you don't know what you're doing, this is like a pain in the ass. And actually, I ended up taking a break for a few weeks and working on some other game development stuff. But if you're a game developer or animator or something, you know, casketer is like a lifesaver, especially if you're indie dev like me. So currently I'm developing Hair House, and I have to make and adjust animations. And there's a mocap method on Unreal Engine 5.8. So, you know, I got this running animation, whatever. I mocapped it, and then pretty much I had to adjust it. So, this is the adjusted version. So now I'll show you the unadjusted version. So pretty much what we're gonna need to do is open up a fresh. So you want the latest version, 2020. I'm on 2026 1.3 of Casketer. If you use the old version, this won't work. But you need your animation, and you want to. I'm gonna use Unreal Engine Mannequin because it's, you know, I'm working in Unreal, and it's the easiest thing to do, easiest thing to work with. And I'll also show how to adjust it because the animation I'm using doesn't take long. So I open up the sample, and then I go to my animation. But before that, I want to open up a new scene, and you wanted a blank scene, and you just want to drag in the animation you want to adjust in this scene. You want to go no to rigging it. You want to select this mode, the joint mode, and you want to select the pelvis. So the pelvis is about here, so just double click the middle. Once you do that, you want to highlight all your frames just by holding left click and dragging across the timeline. You then want to go to edit and copy interval, right? Then you want to go back to your sample save you opened. You want to double click the root until everything's highlighted. If it works here. Jesus Christ. There we go. And then just include the root in that, so it's supposed to look like this. You could also select these two things as well, and then you want to go edit and then go paste you want to go paste interval. Once you paste the interval, the animation will be here. What the fuck? Why is it not working? What did I do wrong? God damn it. Oh, I gotta select the whole. Fucking hell, I'm being retarded. You also have to select the whole timeline. See, this is why I'm doing a tutorial, because I'm not even gonna edit that. I'm gonna show my forgetfulness. Because you do so many things as a game dev, especially when you're like an indie dev, and you also gotta run your own company and stuff. You forget things like this, the little things. So the thing I missed there was I forgot this. You got to highlight the whole timeline again. Then you want to go paste interval. So pretty much we copy the interval, then we paste it. And the reason we got to move it over onto the sample is so we can actually have the other functions, because on this version we don't have the other functions available. We just have this one, and that's not good enough. So once you've done that, then we have all these functions available, and the full animation is here. And then you just want to shorten the timeline. I'm going to shorten it to 17 because this is my functioning animation now. So now we need to adjust it, right? I'm not going to save anything because I already did this in a separate save, and this is just for the tutorial. So you want to adjust it somehow. So pretty much make your adjustments. I'm going to use the point controller mode. I like adjusting animations in Cascadeur using this method. And if you want to change your controls, it's in the top left corner. I use the arrows to move it, but we're just going to be using the rotate mode. But before we rotate anything, I need to select all these joints because I'm pretty much the whole point of this animation that's being adjusted. I mean, this won't really pertain to you, but I had to, it looked kind of ridiculous on my character in Unreal, so I have to straighten the back. So pretty much we want to, you want to hold shift and I'm just left clicking all this stuff. So pretty much I'll straighten up the animation as best as I can. And I usually work from the sides because in this case it's just, you know, that's a bit special needs when making the animation originally. So I had to edit it, so and this is all I'm gonna do, and I'll show you pretty much why I'm making this video. And you're like, oh, this is pretty simple so far. But a big thing about adjusting animations by keyframes the way I'm doing it, because I know there's other ways of doing it, but I'm not some, you know, I don't have 10 years. Figure out how to animate. You know, I'm a coder and level designer and writer, and you know, I gotta manage my taxes and stuff. Like, I don't have time to become an animator. You can see after adjusting the animation, it's really I think this is adjusted as best as I don't know. I did it better in my other one, but obviously I'm not spending too much time on it. So we just adjusted the animation, right? We straightened up the back. This looks better, but now it's jittery. This is a problem, right? Well, you pretty much want to, from here, because you don't want to export it like this, you want to unbake the animation. Now, before you unbake it, you want to make your adjustments first with the whatever mode you desire. I use joint mode because their automated mode is a pain in the ass to fucking use. So that's my opinion. Use whatever you feel, because I don't really care. But now, if you just highlight your whole time frame, right? You go up to the top right, you'll see this thing called animation unbaking. It's that simple. I didn't know it was that simple. You click that little special button and it smooths it out for you. Cascadeur, using its AI systems, will in the background create proper, what do you call that, transfer, like, instead of having, because usually you would go to the graph editor in Blender, and the graph editor is like for people with for sure like 4 extra chromosomes, I would say. Like, the way it's made is like for ultra nerds, and if you know how to use the graph editor in Blender and you can look at all the little dots and not have an aneurysm, you know, good for you. But this is for someone that is too busy to learn to become an animator and doesn't want to hire an animator because they don't have the money to. This is pretty much the or say you're a company that can but you want to save money, this is the method. And it's, as you can see, not jittery anymore. If you do a bit more work on it, you could probably smooth it out even more. But I would say, compared to the original, like, this is the baked animation, like, this is unbaked. So I think they lower the frames when it's unbaked, and pretty much you'll export it. You'll highlight all the keyframes you want to include. I actually baked my animation again, but let's just say we're happy with this, right? With the 17 frames. I'm not going to include 18 because, or I mean 19. Where's 18? No, it's 18 because the last frame was it's quite buggy. If we, there's like a weird pause. I don't know why it did that, so I didn't like that. So I had to edit from 17 frames, and it looks perfect. It's a perfect loop, as you can see from the original. So yeah, but yeah, that's baked. This is unbaked and adjusted, and there's no jitter. So I think this is really good. I had to fix the back from leaning too much, because in game when the player's running, this lean will cause people to have like a motion blur. So it's really, or motion sickness, and it just kind of looks like ass, because when you're running, you want to see what's ahead. You don't want to have to be looking at the floor. You know, you want to be looking ahead. But pretty much you highlight your frames again by holding left click and dragging across. You go export. Export as FBX. Go export, select interval, animations, and then click the drop down arrow and click Z. I haven't actually exported yet on these settings, to be fair, but if something's not working, click Y instead of Z for your axis. I'm going to try Z. If it doesn't work, I'm going to do Y. It really depends on which axis your character is designed on. So these settings might not work for you, and you only select the interval one if you want select frames. I don't want that extra frame, so there you go. There's the video. Hopefully this helped you. I know it's going to help me in the future when I forget.